Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew. Now, I know. Caleb Plant won the fight last night. It was a very interesting fight. I mean, let me start with this. We knew going into this fight as boxing fans that McCumby wasn't as experienced as Caleb Plant. We knew that the level of opposition that he faced kept him at the mid-tier level in boxing. We also knew that Caleb Plant is a world-class fighter, former world champion. We also knew that Caleb Plant fought against his toughest opponents in David Benavidez, whom he lost to, and against Canelo Alvarez, who he lost to. With that being said, we realize as boxing fans that the mid-level competition that McCumby is would not be too much of a match against Caleb Plant. What we did not know was how much of McCumby's power, which was basically one of the only advantages that he had in this fight, his power was going to show up in this fight against Caleb Plant. Now, from what I saw, and please tell me in the comment section below what you saw and what you think and what your POV is on this part. McCumby knocked Caleb Plant down at least twice in this fight. And I say at least twice because two of them were not called by the referee a knockdown. Okay? One of them was clearly a knockdown. Clear. Very definitive. I'm not talking about the one that was officially counted as a knockdown. I'm talking about the unofficial knockdown that was not considered or counted as a knockdown according to the referee. The first one, the first time Caleb Plant ever went down. Okay? But needless to say, the one knockdown that was officially counted as a knockdown, it looked a little weird to me because from one angle, it looked like McCumby landed a clean shot to the head or the body. But when we saw the replay at a different angle, we see that he actually just threw a punch and landed it on the arm of Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was out of position according to how his feet was placed, and he got knocked down. Interesting fight. Overall, interesting fight. McCumby gassed out, obviously, mentally and physically, which we also knew that McCumby didn't have the experience to endure a lot of 12-round fights. Great decorated amateur. But he was fighting against a guy in Caleb Plant who's on a different level. Which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. McCumby deserves all the credit for taking the fight, number one. Number two, for getting in there. And he took some big shots. And he stood up to each and every last punch, except for the last barrage of punches that Caleb Plant landed on him. Obviously, where the referee came in and stopped this fight, which was a good stoppage, by the way, by the referee. But before that, I mean, the guy was eating all of Caleb Plant's shots. But good fight overall. I had two questions, though. Question number one. Caleb Plant threw a lot of punches, right? In the later rounds. We've seen this. My question is, how come he never got tired? You know, from round one to the time of the actual stoppage of this fight, he never got tired. And then, of course, in the later rounds, when he started picking up his levels and his punch output increased, drastically increased, by the way, I'm trying to figure out why he didn't get tired. That's what I'm just trying to figure it out. I just want to know why in the later rounds he didn't get tired. I just want to know. Because he with the snack program, right? Let me say it right. He is with the snack program, isn't he? So I'm trying to figure out, he wasn't huffing and puffing. He wasn't tired. He wasn't, gassing out a little bit. And I'm only saying gassing because we've seen how he fought Benavidez in his last fight. He did a tremendous job in the first 6 rounds of that fight. And he started physically gassing out. He started getting fatigue. And of course, going down the stretch, Benavidez picked his levels up on him. His punch output increased. And then, of course, we know what happened. Benavidez won that fight. Even in the fight against Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant started to get physically fatigued. So I'm just trying, and I'm not saying that he didn't get physically fatigued last night. What I'm saying is, with the amount of punches that he threw in a 3-round span in the later rounds, I was expecting him to be just a little bit more tired. But he's with the snack program, so I get it. And my second question is this. And I know some of y'all not going to like this. But by Monday morning, you're going to be all right. What was all that stuff on the back of Caleb Plant? Let me reframe that. Did y'all see what was on his back? What were those things? Those little dots he had on his back. I'm talking about his physical back. What were those? What was that? That's my second question. What was that? I'm not a medical physician. I have 0 experience in the healthcare industry, all the way around the board. It looked like acne to me. Now, I know Caleb Plant about 32 years old. I don't know too many 32-year-olds that get acne, particularly on their back. So I'm just trying to figure out, what is that? I'm not saying that it was acne. It looked like acne on his back to me. Because remember that time when Pacquiao had them same bumps that Caleb Plant had on his back? Remember Pacquiao had them same bumps on his back. Y'all remember that? It looked like acne when Pacquiao had it on his back. And then now we see Caleb Plant had it on his back. I'm just asking a question. What was that? Was that acne? Why was them bumps on his back looking like that? It looked like acne to me. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a medical physician. But what were those dots? Were they bumps? What was that? We need answers. And he's with the snack program. You know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.